Hello everyone, this is what your pastor didn't tell you. Today we're talking about why Ammon Hillman, this person right here, why he got fired from his old university. So, lots of people want to say, oh, he got fired because of opening portals or because of free speech. And that's what some newspapers, that's what some letters from articles on the internet said. That's what he says himself. Oftentimes, it's really interesting that sometimes when he'll talk about it, he's actually quite vague about what he actually got fired. He heavily implies that's why he got fired. It's really interesting that he doesn't explicitly say that's why he got fired, in some interviews at least. Other times he's more clear. Today, we're going to talk about why actually he got fired. And really, to shortly sum it up here, he got fired for sexual misconduct. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Maybe he got fired for a combination of things. Maybe the prop or all this other stuff. Maybe that played a part. But no, like at the very end of the day, there was some serious things that he did wrong. He did sexual misconduct. There's pretty much no doubt about it. Multiple women and even a man attested to it. And guess what? Ammon admitted it in email. He admitted to stalking. Not only that, but we actually have court documents that share all of this with us. The testimonies of these people. So let's get into that today. So the next portion that we're going to talk about is also part of the court documents, and it basically explains why Ammon Hillman was actually fired. It wasn't all this other stuff that he essentially lied or seems to lie about. It wasn't all this stuff that he told the reporters. It wasn't all this stuff about free speech or supposedly inappropriate props or portals. No, this is actually why he got fired. And it should be pretty obvious after you're reading it, considering what he actually did. So it reads, on Saturday, November 21st, 2015, Stephanie Lucas Waverly, St. Mary Steen of students received an email from a university professor informing her of a sexual harassment incident between a student and an undisclosed faculty member. I wonder if you can guess who that is. On November 23rd, Dean Waverly asked the email sender for additional information and was told that a student had approached another professor very shaken about an incident with Hillman. Waverly then communicated with SS to schedule a meeting to investigate the incident. On November 30th, Waverly met with SS. During the meeting, SS said that she approached a faculty member to share information because she felt really uncomfortable. She reported to Waverly that during a Medea rehearsal in mid-October, Hillman told her that her face could change very easily so that she could attract men or women. It's a weird thing to say to a student. Hillman then asked SS about her sex life with another cast member. Also a weird thing to say to a student. SS was uncomfortable and did not know how to respond. I also wouldn't either, because that's really weird. Hillman then made comments about SS's neck and told her that she could be a model. Hillman then made comments about SS's neck and told her she could be a model for sculptures. That's another odd thing to say to someone. The way Hillman then looked at SS, gradually looking down, made SS uncomfortable. SS then said that Hillman said things like, "God damn, you are trying to make me fall in love with you." Then telling her he knew she was not a whore. Man, look, the list just keeps on going, okay? He said a lot of odd things to this person. At another play rehearsal later in October, SS said that Hillman asked cast members to whip him with a riding crop. Hillman had also come to her dorm room multiple times over autumn break in October. Hillman, one of the play directors, had also come to her dorm room multiple times over autumn break in October. SS informed Waverly that all of these things did not make SS feel very safe because Hillman worked in maintenance and had access to her building and knew where she lived. So Ammon is not only helping direct the play, but he is also a janitor at the time. He's saying all these really weird things to her. And not only that, but he has access to all the different, dorms on campus, and he comes to her dorm room multiple times over autumn break in October. SS informed Waverly that all of these things did not make SS feel very safe because Hillman worked in maintenance and had access to her building and knew where she lived. SS identified 4 other students that may also be uncomfortable with Hillman, including SL, DM, WR, and NA. On December 1st, 2015, Waverly met with students SL and DM. SL stated that she believed Hillman made the Medea play much more sexual than it needed to be. She decided not to pursue a theater major. She had a theater scholarship. That's why she was there. And she decided not to do it because of the play and the theater department. One day as she left a class, Hillman asked her to sit with him on a bench in the hallway. So Hillman says, "Sit with me on this bench." He then asked her to sing part of a song from the Medea play for him. So I guess that could make sense. Maybe he, I don't know, wanted to hear her sing because that's part of the play, right? Maybe practice. And she felt compelled to sing and said it felt strange just sitting there on a bench in the hall singing to Hillman. After she finished, Hillman told her that she was the rabbit. She then told him she had to go. At the next play rehearsal, Hillman pointed right at SL and said she was the rabbit and that we are the wolves, and that Hillman was going to come after her. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds really weird to say that someone's going to come after you and that someone is a wolf. Naturally, SL felt very unsafe, especially because she had been singled out. She did not walk alone anymore, especially to her dorm. In a separate meeting with Waverly, so of course Waverly is the dean of students, and then this SL person is a separate person from the SS person. So this is a separate girl, okay? So this is not one, but 2 people so far that said they felt very, very, very uncomfortable, and Ammon's doing all these odd things with. In a separate meeting with Waverly, DM denied that Hillman made her uncomfortable, though she described the rehearsal involving whipping Hillman. So apparently Hillman was having them whip him. So that's another very odd thing. But I don't know, conceivably that has something to do with the play. Still very, very odd. But if you remember in the top right paragraph here, SS identified 4 other students that may also be uncomfortable with Hillman. So she's like, hey, these other people might also be uncomfortable with Hillman. So the SL, we talked about her. DM is the one that said that, oh, okay, so she denied that Hillman made her uncomfortable. So on December 4th, 2015, Waverly met with NA. And consistent with SS's report, NA said that Hillman showed up at her dorm room multiple times in one day during autumn break. So that is 2 people that he's showing up to dorm rooms with. That's a little odd. On another occasion, when she was alone with Hillman, he told NA that he was not going to touch her inappropriately, which she found strange. That's not a normal. I mean, I don't know about anybody else out there, but saying I'm not going to touch you inappropriately is not something that you really ever need to say to anybody. That's assumed. Essentially, what that means is either Hillman's just so awkward around women that he just can't to know what to say. He was trying to be nice, and he's like, I'm not going to touch you inappropriately. But the very fact that he was thinking about that makes me think was he thinking of touching her inappropriately? What? So, and then later it says, Hillman asked NA if she was a virgin. Okay, that's also really, really weird. That's not something that you ever need to ask anyone. Later, next, during one rehearsal where she had a migraine and left early, Hillman asked NA if she was on her period or starting it soon. That's asking for way too much information. Why would that ever be needed to know? That obviously wouldn't be needed to know. Then it says, he then told her that women that have migraines the first day of their period have more power. What? That's so silly. One, like, why would anybody ever think that's true? Two, that's super weird. Then Ammon says, he said that if his calculations were correct, NA would be the most sexually driven person on stage for opening. What? Why does that mean anything? Hillman asked NA if she knew how beautiful she was. Once again, really odd thing to say. Another time, Hillman asked her if she was seeing anyone, and she admitted that she was talking with a guy. Hillman asked, who would dare to touch you? Who would dare to intervene on the space I have set aside for me? NA remembers this word for word because it was the same time he tried to talk to the muse through her. What a weird thing to do. So not only does Ammon apparently think that he somehow owns this woman, but he also tried to talk to the muse through her. It is just so odd. Like this is multiple women that have said, "Oh, this guy is super weird. He's saying all these weird things to me." Okay, so later on October 12th, 2015, NA emailed, so this is the same girl, NA, emailed Judy Myers, the director of Medea, to tell her that Hillman came to her dorm room door that weekend to talk about the play while he was doing maintenance in the dorm. Hillman likewise emailed Myers about the visit, telling Myers that he found young Medea in her dorm room alone for the weekend. Okay. In another email to Myers, Hillman told her to tell the rabbit, i.e., SL, that she is next. It's time to feed. What? A few days later, Hillman emailed Myers that he ran into the rabbit and was transfixed by her. He said that he said that he made SL sing for him, but he says he should not have done that because she reached inside him and took a little piece of his soul with her voice. So clearly, Ammon is fantasizing or has some weird idea of what his relationship with these people are. Apparently, he doesn't have any boundaries. In a separate email about that singing incident, Hillman describes SL as being antsy and fidgeting, almost scared. Hillman asked Myers if she knew why SL was frightened. His email answered his own question by saying that SL tried to dart away, but Hillman held her with his gaze. He forced her to sing into his ear. He closed his eyes, and she sang into the depths of his soul. And suddenly, her face transformed into something beyond human. SL told Hillman that she had to go, but according to Hillman, he told her that she was the rabbit and Pan, i.e. Hillman, was stalking her. So apparently, Ammon Hillman, admitted to stalking her. That's not ever something you should say to anybody, even if you are stalking someone. As SL left, Hillman told her that he would be watching her. He would be watching her. Yeah, that's what you should tell people. That's really great there. What she literally ran away and suddenly I was alive. Later, in her deposition, Myers conceded that Hillman's conduct with SL was stalking, both under St. Mary's sexual harassment policy and under any classic definition of stalking. So of course, Judy Myers is the person that was like on his side this whole time, but she even said, "Hey, yeah, that's definitely stalking." Hillman conceded that he told students involved with the play to whip him on several occasions. Super weird. Hillman did not limit his sexual or otherwise inappropriate interactions with students to females. What? In September of 2015, he exchanged a series of emails with a male student, CD, asking him if you were to like the feel of a lady's silky negligee, would you prefer a garter or a choker? When the student said he would prefer the choker, Hillman asked him, leather with studs or a frilly domestic lace? Eventually, tying it to the play, Hillman told the student, let me see you in your finest lace. The student said that he was taking Hillman literally. That's pretty creepy. So this is the defendant's memorandum in support of motion for summary judgment. And in this it says, regardless of the existence of a privilege to protect comments made in response to media inquiries, truth is a complete defense to a defamation claim. Despite his protestations to the contrary, and his incessant attempt to shift the reason for his determination to free speech over play props, Hillman did sexually harass students and commit Hillman did sexually harass students and commit misconduct. Hillman admitted in writing that he stalked a St. Mary student, scaring her. Hillman admitted in writing and during an investigative interview that he twice went to a student's dorm room. Hillman sent emails to a St. Mary's student asking about sexual lingerie. There is simply no credible basis for Hillman to now claim that he did not commit misconduct and did not sexually harass students. Therefore, truth is a complete defense to Hillman's claims against St. Mary's. Later, Hillman brought defamation claims for statements made more than 2 years before he commenced suit, for statements of opinion rather than fact, for statements protected by investigative privilege, and for true statements. Thus, his claims are time-barred or insufficient as a matter of law. Ultimately, Hillman was terminated because he sexually harassed students at St. Mary's, and the truth of his harassment precludes his defamation claims. St. Mary's and Sharon asked for a summary judgment. So there you have it. He was not fired for some silly little prop on a stage. He was not fired for portals, supposedly. Ammon Hillman, the person we're looking at right here, was fired for sexual misconduct. Now, hypothetically, okay, you might want to say, oh, well, maybe it was partially this other stuff, okay? But guess what? Okay, maybe you can make that a case that might have been part of it, but there's no doubt about it. If this is all Ammon did was all these stalking and saying these super weird things to women and talking about lingerie with a man, well, guess what? Yeah, that's definitely fire worthy. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Like that was completely justified. So you might be thinking, wow, this is a lot of crazy, wild stuff. Surely the hole doesn't get deeper. Well, it does. Let's keep going. So let's talk about the portals, right? People have heard about the portals. What did the court document say? So it says at least 2 meetings were held at Immaculate Heart of Mary Seminary on the campus of St. Mary's University of Minnesota, in which Dr. Hillman, not present, was accused of practicing paganism, of performing magic, and of being demon-possessed. Parents of students were present making allegations. Bishop John Quinn and Vicar General Thomas Melvin were both present. Bishop Quinn presided. Bishop Quinn advised parents that the allegations against Hillman were unfounded and reassured them that Hillman was not using magic to open a portal to the underworld in order to bring demons into this realm to bring harm to students via the powers of Satan. Thomas Melvin assured students Hillman was not possessed and could not open trans-dimensional portals. Now, you might think to yourself, well, duh, right? Right? Of course he can't do that. Well, apparently, some of these parents were spooked about rumors that were going on. Right. So Ammon, when he goes on these talk shows, he gives the impression that, oh, I was fired for opening portals. But as you can tell, even in the court documents, some of these top leaders are publicly saying, hey, yeah, no, we don't think like he's opening portals. It was just the parents. So obviously the parents don't have any control over who would be fired or not. Now, you might say, oh, well, he's causing a lot of drama for the school. Like, oh, we want to get rid of him for that. And like, that might have played a small impact. But no, like, obviously sexual misconduct on its own is plenty enough to get someone fired. And clearly that played a big impact in what happened. So why did Ammon get fired? He got fired for sexual misconduct. That's pretty much it. Maybe other things played an effect, but no, like, that's pretty much it, okay? So, like, this is plenty of reason to fire someone. This had to be the reason. Any other explanation doesn't really make any sense with what we have and the information, the data. So, yes. So if Ammon says, hey, I got fired for free speech and all this other stuff, you can just go ahead and call him out because he's clearly keeping information from you. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to check out other videos. It's been fun. Let me know what else you want me to talk about. Otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of your day.